viewers, welcome back into my studio. Thanks for joining me today. I'm going to show you real quickly how I make my brush wash. It's something that I decided to use instead of using mineral spirits or paint thinner. I just thought they were a little too stinky and there were some potential health hazards that I just decided to kind of steer away from. So I'm going to show you how I make mine. This was inspired by the brush wash that Brandon Thomas makes, and then I just made a few varieties to it, and I've been using it for almost 3 years now. So I really just wanted to show you what I'm using. You're welcome to use whatever you want. Definitely give it a try, test it out, and see how you like it, and I'm just going to show you exactly how I make it. All right, so the first thing that you're going to need is a 1 gallon or 3.8 liter jug. This is what we're going to be putting the product in that we're going to use to wash our brushes. So we will open this up, and you can use any jug that you want. This is, I think, an old vinegar jug, and I'm just going to tear that off because I don't want it. And to this we are going to add, this is 40 ounces of pure vegetable oil of any kind. You can use whatever you want, whatever seems to be most affordable for you. I have also used a little bit of other oils. I've used castor oil in this mixture, like a tablespoon of that. It's a little bit thicker, but it's also really conditioning for the brushes. I do like it. It was a little bit harder to clean, but it worked really well, and my brushes were really soft. But anyway, we're just going to use a standard old vegetable oil. We'll dump that in to the jug, and we want all of it. There we go. And next, we're going to add some dish soap. This dish soap is an unscented dish soap. I am very preferential to a bunch of strong fragrances, so I try and get fragrance free. The blue version, the really popular blue dish soap, which you all should probably know what I'm talking about, that one works really well too, but it just is a little too stinky. So I have a different one. This is just a no-name plant-based dish soap, and I'm adding this whole bottle in, and this one is 20 ounces. So we're doing 20 ounces of dish soap. Many bubbles. Let that sit for a second. And to that dish soap, I like to add a little bit of Dr. Bronner's or Castille soap. This is just what I have. It's a really great product. It just adds a little bit more of a soapiness. There are different types of surfactants and stuff that we're using. So I really like just a Castille soap. There's a couple options that you might find that you might like. And this Castille soap is peppermint scented, so it has essential oil. It's not a fragrance. So it'll have just a little bit of peppermint, which I like. It's very invigorating. And last of the variety of products that I have on this table, we're adding citrasolv. This is a citrus cleaner, degreaser. You can use it to make other cleaning products. I found this at a natural health store nearby, and you can probably order it online, but it's a really strong citrus degreaser, so it helps to pull some of the oils off. And then we have that vegetable oil, which helps to condition the brushes. So we're just going to add a little bit of that in. Usually I do about 1/4 of this. We'll do kind of just eyeball it there. A little bit more. There we go. And last but not least, just plain old distilled water. So I'm going to fill this up. Awesome. Now the last thing we're going to do is just mix this up a little bit. Now we have some of the citrus degreaser, which kind of acts as an emulsifier, but this is still going to separate over time, so make sure that you give it a good shake before you use it. I find that it works fantastic for basically most of the jug, but you get down to the bottom and you're gonna kind of be missing some of the ingredients because it does still naturally separate over time. So give it a good shake before you use it and test it out, see how you like it. I'm just going to get rid of this so we can close it. We'll close this off. And give it a good shake. Okay, now it's mostly mixed up. We'll mix it up a little bit more before we use it. But what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you just really quickly how this brush wash works, and I'm gonna show you my setup. So this is what I use. This is just an old Tupperware, you know, from the store. And this is actually, this is an old speaker, which I had, there we go. So it was a speaker cover and we just repurposed it into this brush wash. So there's plenty of screens that you can buy to wash your brushes online. Buy whatever you want. I don't think it really matters. This is just what I use. I have been using this container since about week 2 of painting ever. So I was using like a mason jar with a really small screen, and I asked my boyfriend to come up with something that was a little bit bigger, and this was the solution. And honestly, it's been working really well. I haven't wanted to change it. It keeps me from using a bunch of brush wash, so I use a small amount at a time, and sometimes I can make it go like 2 paintings worth, sometimes not, especially if I'm plein air painting and I'm painting outside. I'll dump this back into a water bottle and take it to my next location of painting and dump it right back out and use it again. So anyway, let's show you how it works. Make sure you give it a good shake before every time that you use it, because like I said, it's going to separate. It's so heavy. I'm making myself look weak on YouTube. Okay, I'm gonna dump a little bit out, and I am going to be painting soon, so I am just filling it up like I would normally. And that's about how much I fill the container. Hopefully you can see well enough. It's not all the way full, so I want there to still be a little bit of the screen showing, and then the sediment of the paint is going to settle into the bottom. So we'll give that a try, and then I'm going to show you, I have some Prussian blue here on my palette and a brand new brush, never been used. It's still wrapped up. I'm going to unwrap it right now. This is a 1-inch brush for my standard go-to supply. I'm sure you'll recognize it. Okay, take that, and I'm just going to load paint in the brush, get it, dirty and painty, because I want to show you how we're going to clean it. So, good bit of paint in there, right? There's some in the tip and all the way up on the bristles. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to wipe off the excess paint. Sometimes when you're painting foliage and you're pushing the brush into the paints and onto the palette, you get a lot of paint, so you can squeeze it out. I pull on all of my bristles. I'm pretty rough with my brushes, and they are still going. So do what you want, how you want. I'm going to show you how I do it. So I'm just getting out all of this excess paint, and you can see that it's kind of piling up and that I am actually pulling off paint. So we'll just do this a little bit and get it a little bit more cleaned off. And then we're gonna go right into the brush wash. and give it a good scrub. I'm just gonna go back and forth, and then I flip it over onto the other side and go back and forth, give it scrub. And you can already see that the paint is pulling off. So when we keep this on a flat surface, the paint will settle to the bottom. Although we are moving this product around a lot right now, it's kind of shaking it up, but the paint still will sink into the bottom and it'll pull off onto the screen. So we're just mixing, we're flipping the brush over and making sure that it really spreads out, and we're just moving it back and forth like this to give it a good scrub. And this is how I clean all of my brushes. The fan brush is just the same, script liner. I do it all with this. I've even used my brush wash to thin paint down just like you would with paint thinner. It is a little bit different, and because of the water content of it, it does change the way that the paint is going to dry, so you will have to practice that a little bit. But anytime that you see me thinning down the paint into a thin paint to use my script liner with, maybe I'm using this. I never use paint thinner. I don't even have any in here. I think maybe I have some old jugs somewhere out in the back garage, but I just don't even have it. I don't need it. So now that I've cleaned both sides, I like to do kind of this little swirly thing and it helps to get some of the paint out of just like the tip of the brush, and just make sure that you're scrubbing it off from all of the sides. And go back and scrub it this way, flip it over, scrub it. Now it does take a lot longer to clean using this approach. I will not lie and say that it's super easy and it's, you know, it's great, it's fantastic, I love it, it's my favorite part of painting. It's not. I hate cleaning up. I think every artist probably will feel very similarly. I know it's, at some points it's a little bit gratifying because yay, you're done, but then you're like, oh cool, now I have another 30 minutes or 40 minutes of cleaning up to do, and it can kind of dampen the mood a little bit. So to be able to feel confident that you're using a product that's going to be at least a little bit better of what you're breathing in and inhaling, I definitely would recommend giving it a try. So after I have like cleaned out the brush, I just take a rag, and I've used dirty shirts before, but they're not quite as absorbent as most of these towels. These are just a cheap version of the blue towels. They're really soft material that helps to absorb the paint really well, and I find I can get a lot of use out of these. I can even wipe paint on it multiple times and it will keep absorbing the oils, so I really like them. And I'm just getting out as much of this moisture that I can. I'm going to go back in one more time and we'll show you how clean we got it. Now I use blue on purpose. It's one of the paints that seems to pretty much always stick in the brush. And it's a little bit strong, but once you work at getting this cleaned off a little bit, you wipe out the bristles, you'll eventually get it to a point where there really isn't much paint pulling off anymore, and you'll have a clean brush even if it has a little bit of a hue of a color. And I still just, I'll pull out some of my older brushes and you can look at them. And you can see this, how well they seem to be working. I know I have a 2-inch brush that I've been using for at least a year now. I'm surprised that it made it that far, to be honest. But I've gotten a lot better at making sure to always clean up when I'm done. Like I said, nobody wants to do it, but if you clean up right away, your brushes will last a lot longer. So now I'm feeling pretty good about getting most of this. Actually, there's this tiny little spot I can see. And because of the oil in here, it also, like, we have soap and water, so it's going to clean, and the water will pull the oils with it, and some of the oil will stay on the bristles to condition them, which is really, really, really helpful for the future, and that's why I've been able to keep them running for so long. The fan brush is a different story. I destroy those like every couple months, but my 2-inch and 1-inch brushes, I can really make them go the distance. Okay, so let's just show, this is a nice dry white piece of paper towel, and we're not getting any blue to come off. Let's try on this roll. This is a fresh roll of paper towel, and now I'm trying to get any blue that is left on this brush to come off. See, there's just a tiny little bit here. We will go ahead and just pinch it and pull out anything that's left. So it's a very, very small amount of blue here that's still coming off. And it's a strong paint, it's just the way it's gonna be. But now, check it out. What'd you think? Let me know in the comments below if you try out this brush wash, if you want to make any changes to it for yourself, please do, and then let me know what you try and what you like. All right, smile and be happy, friends.